Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your main man, Coach Eric Schwefel, coming at you with another episode of the Unlocking Excellence podcast. Now, today, I got a good one, man. It's Story Thursday. I'm excited to let you know about this one and tell you about this one. I hope you enjoyed the story last week, The Obstacle is the Way. This one, it's a classic. So if you heard it before, I definitely apologize. But it's one of my favorite stories to tell. Almost every story is my favorite story to tell. But it's one of my favorite stories to tell. So let's just dive straight into it. This one's called The Butterfly Effect. So once upon a time, there was a young boy. He was playing outside. And he was enjoying himself, and he was running all over the place, and he was climbing up his tree, getting into his treehouse, and he looked down and he saw something that was on the ground, and he'd never seen it before. And when he got down from his ladder, he went to look at the base of the tree, and he saw something was attached to this twig, to this branch. He didn't know what it was, so he went inside and he went and got his dad, and his dad told him, he said, "Well, son, this is a cocoon." And he says, "Dad, what's a cocoon?" And he says, "Well, you see, when a caterpillar is ready to become a butterfly, what it does is it makes a cocoon, and then it goes in there, and it begins to change, and it comes out, and then it becomes a butterfly." And the young boy, he had never seen this, so what he did is he went inside. He said, "Dad, can we keep it?" And he said, "Yeah." And he went and got a jar, and they poked some holes in the jar, and they put part of the stick in the cocoon in the jar, and they placed it on the mantle of their chimney. And the young boy, he just sat there and he watched this thing the whole time. He knew that a caterpillar was in there, and he asked more questions to his dad. He said, "What happens?" He said, "Well, at a certain point in life, the caterpillar says, okay, I need to become a butterfly." It makes this cocoon, and it goes inside its cocoon, and it's really dark and it's really tight, and it begins to change through this process called metamorphosis. And he says, "Oh, really?" He says, "Yes, I remember reading this in school." So he said, "Okay, what happens then, Dad?" And he says, "Then it begins to change, and when it's ready, it breaks out of the cocoon, and then it can fly again." He says, "Oh my gosh, Dad, I can't wait to see that. That's amazing." So the little boy, he sat there for minutes. He thought he was going to be able to make it for hours, but it was minutes. And his attention span couldn't take it, so he went around and he was doing different things, but always, each time he went by the chimney, by the mantle, he looked up just to check to see if anything was happening. And one of those times he walked by the chimney, he saw that the jar was shaking, and he looked and he could see that the cocoon was shaking. He said, "Oh my gosh, it's happening. It's becoming a butterfly. Dad, 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 Dad." He started screaming. His dad ran down as quick as he could. They removed the cocoon from the jar. They placed it on the floor, and they began to watch as it started moving. And then they see the first little crack. They see some of the legs come through, but they notice that after a couple of minutes, the butterfly still hasn't come out of the cocoon. And the boy, he's worried about this. He's worried. So he says, "Dad, we need to do something. The cocoon, the butterfly's not going to be able to get out of the cocoon." So what they do is they take it off the floor. They place it on the table. The dad goes and he gets a knife and he starts to help out. He says, "I'm going to take this knife. I'm going to be careful not to hurt it." But he helps to open up the cocoon. And as he does, a couple of the wings come out. The butterfly emerges, but it has a swollen body. And instead of having these big, beautiful wings, they're small and they're shriveled. You know, the man thought nothing about it, and he sat there and he waited for the wings to enlarge to support the butterfly. However, it just didn't happen. The butterfly couldn't fly, didn't even try to get off the table. The butterfly spent the rest of its life unable to fly, crawling around with small wings and a swollen body. So they look it up, they Google it. Why did this happen? Come to find out, butterflies need the struggle of getting out of the cocoon in order for the fluid from their swollen body to go into their wings. The butterflies need, the caterpillars, when they turn into the butterfly, need the struggle in order to fly. You see, whenever they're getting out of the cocoon, all the fluid that's in their body, it shoots into their wings. It eventually causes the wings to expand, and it makes the body much, much smaller. Because in order to fly, you can't be too heavy, right? So despite the man's kind heart and his son's willingness to help and help out this butterfly, he didn't understand that restricting the cocoon and stopping the struggle that the butterfly needed to get itself through the small hole, he didn't realize that this was God's way of forcing fluid into the body and preparing itself for being free. You see, we have this same thing that kind of happens to us. In life, we have these struggles that develop our strengths, but we either give up too easy, we look for somebody else to help us through it, and we never really struggle enough to get strong. You see, it's so important for us to tackle challenges on our own and not rely on others for help all the time, because it helps us develop into a leader. It helps us develop into who we were meant to be. And no matter how much somebody else wants to help, sometimes we need to tell them no, to do it on our own. Now, don't get me wrong, there are, of course, exceptions to this rule where you need somebody, where you need help, but that's not all the time. So with that being said, what struggles in life right now are you preventing people from enduring? What struggles in life are you right now preventing yourself from enduring? What do you need to endure in order to develop your strength? Y'all, where is the butterfly in your life? Allow yourself to go through the struggle for you build strength. Allow yourself not necessarily to suffer, but to learn. Allow yourself to go through the fire, because it is through the fire that you are cleansed. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you share it out. I hope you subscribe to the podcast. Let me know what you thought about in the comments. Mark this up for us so we can get it out there. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Remember that sometimes when you're struggling, it's just a step in the plan for you to be free. You're unstoppable. Have a great one. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.